How's it going, ballers? It's Jack here. Thanks for tuning in to another NBA draft profile, my third of the 2018 season. Another Duke Blue Devil. That's right, I feel very qualified here as I profile each Duke game on my other channel dealing with the Devils to talk about Gary Trent Jr. And 25 games into the season, he's averaged 15 points, 4 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 1 steal, and 1 turnover per game. And that's while playing 33 minutes for the Blue Devils and starting all 25 of those games. Now, his shooting splits have been 44% from the field, 45% from 3, and 87% from the free throw line. Now, what makes Gary Trent Jr. a good NBA draft prospect? Well, for one, his reputation coming in to Duke was that he was a bully. He had great size at the position, 6'6", 200 pounds. The Ohio native, has great strength as well. And if he's able to get a step by the defender, he can lower his shoulder and get around and use that strength to score inside. But the player who played 3 seasons at Apple Valley, home of the Jones brothers, also had a well-developed array of offensive moves that we were not told he had. And that was something that was evident in the exhibition games, where he was hitting a number of moves off of 3 dribbles or less, whether it was curling around and hitting a 1-dribble pull-up inside the 3-point line, or hitting a pull-up 3 from the corner, or a spot-up 3 from the corner. There was just a number of shots or a floater in the lane that he was hitting early on in the season that told me he was much more skilled than was initially to be believed. Now, he's proven that his 3-point shot is evident based on that percentage from earlier. And, that 45% from 3 is no fluke. While he may have started the season as a streaky 3-point shooter, he's been the most consistent 3-point shooter on Duke by a mile in ACC play. Now, the other thing about Gary Trent Jr. that I really like is his intelligence on the court. While he may not be an outstanding athlete, and we'll get to that in terms of his lateral quickness, defensively, he's rather intelligent. He knows where to be, whether they're playing zone or man, and it's very rare he has one of those defensive lapses. Now, that basketball IQ also takes place on the offensive end, where he's learned to play with 4 other NBA draft prospects, but play without the basketball for tons of stretches of the game. And so he's had to learn how to get open and move without the ball. And so he's learned to move to the corners, roll out to the top of the key, find different ways to get himself open when he doesn't have the basketball. And therefore, his catch and shoot game really has been phenomenal this season, and it's improved as the year has gone on. Now, lastly, he's very tough. That's the thing, we've seen from Tyus Jones from Apple Valley, and we'll see if we see it from Trey Jones. But when the Blue Devils have been in their worst situations, you've seen Gary Trent Jr. rise to the occasion. Whether that was the Miami game where he had, he burst onto the scene for a career-high 30 points, but they were down big time in that game before they went on a big run late. You saw that earlier as well when they lost to Boston College, but he went for, at the time, what was a career-high 25 points. And so you see that Gary Trent Jr. is capable of rising to the occasion when the team is not necessarily playing as well. And lastly, in terms of his ball handling, he dribbles the ball well. He's not exceptional, I would say, but he's effective with his dribbling. And in terms of his strengths, I would say, it's something where we start to border into weaknesses, and that's a good point for me to transition here into, we have a weekly Draft Man Standing show where we cover the NBA and NFL draft, and that's Tuesdays at 6:30. So if you're around, tune in. We'll be live on YouTube. Any questions you have about either draft will be available to answer, both John and I. Now, in terms of Gary Trent's weaknesses, as I said earlier, he's not very explosive. He doesn't have great lateral quickness. That also manifests itself on the offensive end, where he's not an explosive finisher, and he's not able to finish through size very well. You do see him able to finish over other guards because of his strength, but because he doesn't explode necessarily near the rim, or he's not able to really, he doesn't have a great floater yet, I would say, though you've seen lots of improvement from him, so I would say that's something we could see in the future, but it's not there yet, and so that's why his shooting percentage is low compared to his three-point percentage. Also, he's not great off the bounce, and therefore he's not much of a creator, and that's evident by the number of assists he has. So while he does move the ball well around, around the perimeter, he's not going to create for his teammates and allow them to get easy baskets. He moves the ball well, but he's not going to create opportunities. And like I said earlier, he was rather streaky early on in the season, but he's become more consistent. So I think Gary Trent Jr. is a first-round prospect, someone who's going to go outside the lottery, but could go anywhere in that range from 16 to just towards the end of the first round. But I do think he's worked his way into the first round. We know what he is, which is a 3-and-D type guy whose offense is going to be better than his defense, but he's going to provide value to whatever team he lands, thanks to his basketball IQ and his toughness. So guys, let me know what you think of this video. What do you think of Gary Trent Jr.? And what other prospects do you want to see me profile? Thanks for listening, guys. I'm out.